You can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. And my feet have come too far for you to tie 'em to the ground. You can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. Set my sights on where I'm going at. They turn it back around. You can't stop me.
Well, good evening and welcome to Mountain Bears. I'm Aeson, and of course, with me tonight is Techy Joe. How are you, darling?
I'm doing good. I just realized my volume was up way too high.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Hey, hopefully it didn't pick up a big giant echo. But hi, Ace. Oh, good Lord. Hi, Brenda.
Hi, darling. Nice for you to say hello to me again today.
Yes. Hi, Facebook user. Hi,
Ashley, get your coffee. Come on, let's sit down. Let's have some fun.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Actually, we have a good little slate of articles.
we
I don't
do.
think you sent me extra ones after what I saw earlier. So I think I'm actually all prepared for once.
Yes.
Yeah. And we got one multi-article one that's kind of a crazy topic. That's going to be fun.
Well, I think we should take the PSA first because this one is highly important.
Oh, yes. So, yeah. So, public service announcement, update your new iPhones and iPads to avoid the Apple Music bug. As well as your iPad. Basically update all your Apple devices, please. Please, please, please. And Ashley will get to you in just a minute. So yeah. So mostly this affects the iPhone 13 model, the new 9th generation iPad, or the 6th generation iPad mini. So there's an important update. A bug affecting those devices restored from a backup can prevent users from accessing the Apple Music catalog, Apple Music settings, or using the service's sync library feature.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a big deal.
Well, that's a very big deal because this is a large problem. Because this not only prevents you from using it, but it prevents you from being able to access stuff. It could be totally tearing itself apart.
Ooh, Ashley, especially update, 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 update.
Yes.
Quickly, quickly, please.
Yeah. Everybody needs updated. Run the update. This is also a security patch, and those are rare with Apple. Hello, Miss Gwen. Nice to see you in the house tonight. Party on, party up.
Yeah, really. Hey, Mary. Mary's joining by iPhone. Oh, I feel like when Mary comments back, we should be like, update, update now, sister, update.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And I think this is going to be different because I don't think the iPhone and iPad users are used to it. That's why it came out as a PSA. We
Oh,
get software updates all the time from Samsung, who is killing their targeting marketing. I'm telling you.
okay.
I opened the article for the PSA,
Uh-huh.
and it is covered by Samsung.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, one Samsung, and we've kind of talked about this with the new Samsungs. They're really having to push on to people that you want this.
Right.
Because I think I understand why Samsung did what they did
Mm-hmm.
in terms of we're not releasing a new Note. Like there should have been a Galaxy Note 21, but there isn't.
Mm-hmm.
They're really trying to hardcore go after people to get the new Fold line.
Right.
They would like you to turn a phrase to fold in line,
Right.
and get their line of fold phones, either the Flip or the Z Fold.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Not
I
interested.
think. Well, I think there's a lot of people in the same boat that are sitting there like, okay, but see, the last time there was a foldable phone, And the
Right.
time before that, this didn't work out so hot.
Right.
And not to mention, like, this has the thickness of like a BlackBerry flip or oh good lord, if I could talk tonight, a Motorola backflip is what I'm trying to say. Or your early, like the wonderful one from T-Mobile, the Sidekick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the thickness I think we're talking about on these. They are not thin.
No, they're not thin. And here's the other thing with them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the style of like the Razor. The original Razor that I was in love with. This is
Right.
more my earlier clam shape thickness.
Yeah, it's a very bulky thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. They've tried to dress up this pig and silks. It ain't working.
yeah. Yeah, at least they held on and put out a 21 an S21.
Right.
That is probably going to be everyone's fallback.
Right.
Sadly, either that or there's going to be a bunch of us doing an end run on the Note 20s,
Right.
like literally we did.
Well, not only that, but I'm loving my Note 20, and you guys have to understand it takes me a good bit to like a phone.
Yeah. I
Especially
will say, I know you and I've known many people dearly love their Razors.
yes.
I hate that phone.
Really?
I never liked the feel.
The steel feel.
That keyboard
Uh-huh.
or the keypad, I hate the feel of that keypad. Like, I can literally taste that keypad. As bad as that, as weird as that sounds, I'm sure, but that aluminum overlay,
Uh-huh.
there was something about every time I touched it, it just, oh.
Oh, I love that keypad. I love the sound of that phone. The sound quality has never been beat. Oh, no matter the phone I've had, that Razor was clear. It was easy to fit in my back pocket. It wasn't heavy. It wasn't annoying. I didn't have to worry about what pants I was wearing, if I was taking a purse or not, because it just fit. And they haven't produced another phone like that.
Not really, no.
Yeah.
Like, we kind of are, welcome to 2021. We kind of, just carry our phones now. And,
Right.
like, I don't know why they try to argue about, like, putting them in a pocket. Who puts their phone up that long? Like, I'm sorry, but I literally put my phone in my pocket just so I can move from spot to spot. Like, that's it.
Right.
Other than that, it's not like I'm walking around with it in my pocket. I'm generally walking around with it in my hand.
Right.
But if I need both hands, I suddenly need a pocket. That's
Right.
it.
See, I'm very much the type that throws in a purse, because I'm Bluetooth. You got me addicted to Bluetooth, and before that, I was a wired boy, and it's
I
just
know.
like, in it goes, in it goes. Make sure it fits in there. Great, let's go. Is it with me? Great. Click, hello. Click, what are you doing? Click, remind. Hey Google, remind me at 12 o'clock to go get cigarettes.
Yeah. Well, and while I like the sound quality better of a wired headset and always have, because you do lose a lot of fidelity with wireless. You really do. Because you're taking an already compressed signal
Mm-hmm.
that was made digital that's trying to become analog, and you're turning it around and you're recompressing it and transmitting it at a lower bit rate
Mm-hmm.
for it to then become a analog sound again,
Mm-hmm.
when it moves the speaker. Yeah,
Yeah.
you lose a lot of fidelity. Like, every time you compress and uncompress and recompress, and no.
Yeah. And for those wondering, yes, I am researching a new headset.
Mm-hmm.
This poor boy's about ready to get old.
That was a surprising find.
Yeah, I love those.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still surprised. Those were very inexpensive headsets.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually ended up getting you multiple because of the battery. Like, that's the one downside to those specifically, is the battery will not get you all the way through your day. You do
Yeah.
need to rotate them.
Right.
But even at that, that's not the biggest deal in breaker in the world. But that was the first headset that was wireless I think you ever ran across that you're like, I can work with this.
Right. That was the first one that was like, yeah, I can do this. And then it's like, oh, I love this. And what, 4 years now we're going on with these? And
I
now I've
think,
reached the end.
yeah, something like that. Like, that's a long
You
life
got it
out of a
within the
headset.
first 2 months of our relationship. So yeah, 4 years.
Yeah, because I was like, here, I think this will help. Because you kept having the problem with wired headsets that pretty much everyone has.
Right.
Is that, yeah, they work and they're really good sound quality and they're reliable sound quality.
Mm-hmm.
But invariably, bad things happen to corded things.
Yeah.
When you're trying to walk and move and do and go and, carry all this around. Is that they keep getting damaged. Like, I think you had one, like the headphone part like ripped off.
I've had the microphone break. I've had the headphone part break. I've had the cords break like all the time. I've had
Mhm.
the adapter get stuck into the phone. There was a lot of problems, but it's the same problem. I kept having the one problem, because you were like, move to Bluetooth. Everyone uses a Bluetooth in their ear, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it doesn't give me the sound quality it needs. And actually, if I'm looking at Logitech or Turtle Beach, I don't like Turtle Beach because Turtle Beach in itself is a cheap damn headset. They will break. They are designed for gamers and short-term users. I normally at most times have my headset on a minimum of 8 to 10 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't work well. Logitech's, their speakers go out all the time. So that's not a good investment. I really like Panasonic. They tend to do very well.
Plantronics.
There you go,
Yeah,
Plantronics.
that's the one I recommend highly. That is a company that specifically makes headsets.
Right,
That is call center headset is pretty much always Plantronics.
right.
And
And
it's because you can't beat them.
right.
Well,
And
more importantly, you can beat them. You can beat them, run them over with a train. You can do about anything to a Plantronics headset. I will
right,
say that. I've seen it all. They are
right,
some of the most resilient headsets and long-lasting headsets
right.
I have ever seen.
And I have to find one that isn't labeled. I forget
Mm-hmm.
the name of this one.
But no, I fell in love with those oddly while working in a call center.
Mm-hmm.
The first time,
Right,
because that's what we were using there were Plantronics. And like the quality of the call is unbelievable. Um, and then turned around and worked in a second call center environment. I wasn't actually in the physical call center as much. Like I wasn't on calls, but again, another place that used Plantronics, and from a support perspective, very few did we ever have to replace. Like, good luck breaking one of the corded ones. Like,
right,
that's impossible.
right.
But yes. Okay, so what you got for us?
Just give me a minute.
Okay.
Panasonics. Blue Parrot.
Oh, Blue Parrot?
Yeah, these are designed for truckers. So
Yep.
again, it's another long-term thing. So if you are use Bluetooth, B, wear your headset often, make sure that you get one of those brands that are designed for long-term use. Call centers, truck drivers.
Mhm.
Um, this is an advisor thing. It's like, yeah, they make really cute and nice and lightweight ones, but you're going to buy 10 of them a year.
Almost 4 years.
Okay.
December 2017.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just felt like looking it up.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I ordered them for myself, and then I was like, here, try it. No, seriously, try it. It's really good.
Yeah, because that's when you join the show.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's still a while.
Mm-mm. That's the reason you got it, is we were on the phone
Yes,
too much.
it is. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I
We've
know.
been doing this that long?
I've been doing the shows for over a decade, honey.
Oh, whatever. I didn't know I had actually been between Blog Talk and this for 4 years.
Yeah,
Like, holy crap.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and Facebook user says I have a clip talking about attached to hand. So do you.
Yes, I have the option of doing this wireless charge thing. No, thank you. I will gladly use my ring.
I tried to slow him down and be like, get a case with one.
Yeah.
Get a case with one. But yeah. But no, a really good headset, and when you stop and think about it, they aren't that expensive. Like
Right.
the Blue Parrots run around 100,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere between like 79 and I think 120 is their cap out. I think that's the most expensive Blue Parrot.
No, I think it's 320.
Really?
Yeah, that's the one that also has a dowel pad on your ear.
Oh, good God.
Yeah.
That's a lot. But anyway, okay, I hadn't seen that one.
I saw that at the Pilot.
Oh, wow. So, but no, then the Plantronics, they generally run around 120 to 179.
Right.
Again, there's more expensive ones.
Right.
But yeah, I've when you think about how long they'll end up lasting,
Yeah.
Plantronics especially, like you're not buying a 5-minute headset.
Right.
Like we, from a company perspective, we had about 100 of them.
Mm-hmm.
These were wired. There were a few users that had bought their own wireless ones.
Mm-hmm.
And they were expensive when they bought them, like
Right.
super expensive.
Right.
But the replacement on them, like one, if Plantronics still does it, they'll just about replace you dead outright
Right.
if one of them fails.
Right.
They will send you parts in a heartbeat.
Yes. Well, they'll replace the whole, because before, when we were way before, when I was on home phone, I had the most lovely little like office phone that was designed for secretaries, and all. It was this little box, and it came up with cable. They replaced that 5 times.
Really?
Yeah, because I had killed it.
So power user, but no, that's basically the old school Plantronics setup.
Right.
And it was like the headset itself was really super lightweight. Like you would think it was cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Till you actually touched it.
Right.
And it's like you're not destroying it.
Right.
Sorry, this wasn't supposed to be a Plantronics ad, but that's a company I'm passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, I mean, when you're working IT,
Yeah. Well, you have your brands and stuff, and whose hands would work that way, Ashley? I can press 1 on my head. Could definitely do a 1 or a 3 or a 5 or a 9 on the ear, because think about it. And the average human, how many calls do you get a day that's like, press 1 for English, press 2 to speak to a representative, press 4 to talk to a human?
I will say that is probably the worst thing in the world when you're driving, though.
Mm-hmm.
Or it is, as a personal experience for me, that is the worst thing in the world, is to get that phone call where you have to press 1 for this, or press 2, or enter your birthday, or whatever. Our pharmacy has a press 1 thing.
Right.
Or more importantly, I run into a bigger problem with Logisticare. When if I forget to do it the day before and I've got a call en route,
Right.
I can't be moving for that call, because the very beginning of that call is press 1 for this and press 2 for that and blah, blah, blah. And then you have to read off all this other information to it. Like, there's no, hi, can I talk to a human and tell you humanly what I need?
Right.
But and that's a big problem now, is there's a lot of phone calls you cannot or should not, more importantly, should not be making in the car.
Right.
And almost all of those involve press 1, press 2, enter your date of birth, enter in a PIN number, enter this, enter that. I will say that is the one thing with hands-free and the more modern like interfaces in cars, they really should have shut down.
Right.
Is how many button presses on that front, because that's unlimited.
Right.
You can dial all you want to.
Right.
While driving.
Right. Well, I think, and what I would love is for an Android and an Apple to be able, for me to be on a phone and go, hey, Apple, press 1. Or, hey, Siri, press 1.
Yeah.
Hey, Siri, press 5. And it do it.
I mean, that I wish there were better choices there.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, there's a whole list of phone calls. No, I can't do that while I'm driving.
Right.
Granted, I also find it horrible in the 21st century. In 2021, the number of businesses that cannot text you.
Exactly.
I have had that moment before, and Logisticare is another example, because I can pull over and get to a point where all I'm waiting for is the live representative to reconfirm everything I just told the system, and then give me I believe it's 5-digit number.
Right.
I have asked, can you text it to me? And no, we don't have that ability. Multiple other businesses, can you text me that information? I'm driving right now.
Right.
I don't have a pen and paper because I don't know what century you're from, but I don't have a pen and paper right now.
Right.
Hi, welcome to the modern world. I'm moving and on a phone. Like, do you need reintroduced to the concepts?
Right.
Like, can you email me? No. Can you, like, fuck it, send me a carrier pigeon or just call me back and leave a voicemail? Like, oh my God.
Right.
And a lot of companies can't even do the call me back and leave me a voicemail. We're not allowed to do that.
Exactly.
Great. So I have to call you back and go through your whole system again.
Exactly. And it's insanity.
It's insane. I hate that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Let's take on some election news, shall we?
Absolutely.
So, Arizona, as one county, Phoenix, Arizona, has been doing a recount since election night.
Still,
they just finished it 16 hours ago and shot a drafted report. They have recounted these dang things manually twice. Once paid by the Republicans, once paid by the prosecuting attorney's office. Do you know what they found?
A very high suicide rate?
No.
I just can't imagine manually counting an election.
Yep.
Like, I bless their hearts.
Right.
And I mean that in the most non-Southern way. Like, bless your heart. That's a lot of fucking effort.
Right, because they also had to verify each ballot. So, for those that don't know, every ballot has a registration number. The registration number is connected to the voting book, either electronically or non-electronically. Doesn't matter. They had to verify that yes, this is a registered voter. Yes, this is in our county. Yes, the name is correct, and then count the vote. So that's
they have to verify signatures too.
Yes.
Oh God.
Yep. Okay. So this kind of backfired on Humpty Dumpty
Well, unsurprisingly.
Because, of course, Biden won Arizona by now a higher margin.
Oh, they had better recounts of the mail-in or the absentee ballots.
They had better counts of the ballots in general. The
Well,
ones that the system kicked out for non-reading them
oh,
and didn't count those votes, because if the votes aren't properly done, they're not counted.
mm-hmm.
Manually had to be counted.
Oh God. Don't you just love when they egg on the face? Just like,
Right. So the margin was bigger. He won those votes fair and square. It shuts that down.
the ridiculousness.
Yep.
The ridiculous. I'm sorry. I just cannot even imagine though having to physically do that twice.
Right.
I mean, how many people quit
Right.
after the like? One, how many people stuck around for the actual count?
Right.
And then how many people quit before the second one, and how many people quit during the second one?
Mm-hmm.
I would hate / love to hear their turnover rate,
Yeah.
because I would think at some point it's got to be like, he won, get over it.
Right.
Like, we are currently down to a point where literally every remaining ballot would have to be voted for him. And then you've got to hit a point in which it doesn't matter
Right.
if every remaining ballot were for him.
Mm-hmm.
He would still not win.
Right.
But yet, I'm sure they have to literally at that point count every single one remaining.
Exactly.
I just, ugh.
Because what if there were two stuck together, or 500 stuck in a poll? I mean, because they literally tried to claim that ballots were being hidden, ballots were being brought in from China. They had to test the freaking paper to make sure its bamboo content wasn't Chinese.
Oh, good God.
Let's take a look here.
Yeah, Ashley was asking for the exact count.
All right. Or are they releasing, or are they just going with he won? Yeah, because I cannot.
Oh, you know, if they don't release those damn numbers.
Oh, I know.
That'll be the new thing, is they're hiding it. They're hiding it. They don't want you to know what the real numbers are.
Mm-hmm.
Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And I just feel like I should throw in, I'm quoting Death Becomes Her there.
Right. The post isn't giving me real numbers.
Oh.
Which is surprising. It does say that it was an increased margin of 2%.
Oh, Ashley is also asking, or saying / asking, this was the first time I saw riots at the polls. Is this common during elections? Fuck no.
No.
I remember my election in college, the first time that you would even think that a riot could have broken out, because we were in North Carolina required to vote where we were, or could, more importantly, vote where we were.
Mm-hmm.
So I voted at the Elliott Student Union Center, or the Elliott Center now called. But yeah, we were lined up and packed like sardines
Mm-hmm.
in that line, all the way through a 3-segmented ballroom
Right.
to vote.
Right.
Because that damn polling location only had like 6 machines.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing. And I did find a number. It says the draft report shows a review concluded that 45,469 more ballots were casted for Biden in Macomb County than Trump, widening the margin by 360 more votes than the certified results.
There we go. So a whole 360 votes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this caught.
Right.
You do know that,
$1 million.
huh?
They spent $6 million on this.
Yeah. But no, I think I think Kathy is absolutely right. I think it's going to become more common.
Right.
That we have a riotous election experience, which we were never supposed to have.
Right.
Because fundamentally, going to vote is supposed to be a safe experience.
Right.
And at this point, even our election laws never considered that people in and of themselves would become so violent at the polls that they would need to regulate that. Like, well, they regulate a lot of things. Like, you cannot carry weapons. You cannot, within so many feet of a polling location, even wear apparel that would indicate.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a greater, lesser degree of enforcement there. Like some places, you really don't want to wear red or blue to go vote. Other places, as long as it doesn't directly say anything, right, you can wear all the red and blue you want to.
Right, but a lot of these Republican states are now passing stricter voting law requirements. Like in some states, it's going to be illegal for you to hand out water to people standing in line.
Yeah. I at this point, as sad as that is, I can understand why. Because again, I used to work in a debt collections call center.
Mm-hmm.
We had a list of things that were common office supplies we were not allowed to hand out on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Which the floor was what we called, the actual call center employees, the floor. Right. Those 100 employees were not allowed to have scissors, staplers,
mm-hmm,
letter openers. There was a list.
Right.
Basically, we could not hand out any heavy office supply because any heavy office supply can become a projectile and a weapon.
Right. Yeah, you can't hand out water at polls anymore.
Yeah.
Thanks to Republicans.
Well, yeah. And the three that I listed
mm-hmm,
were because of specific incidents.
Right.
Where someone was stabbed with a pair of scissors.
Uh-huh.
Hit with a thrown stapler. Oh, and there's a fourth one. Letter openers were used as knives. Mm-hmm. And we also were not allowed to hand out tape dispensers. The bulky sets on your desk tape dispenser. Mm-hmm. You could have a, like, El Cheapo, here's your Scotch tape. You could not have a tape dispenser on your desk.
Right.
If you worked on the floor because someone had been hit with one of those.
Right.
Because you talk about end of month and people getting mad about stuff.
Right.
Oh, you could start a riot on that floor.
Right.
In a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
Electors are some very, very high-strung individuals
mm-hmm,
who do not like any kind of situation in which they lose money.
Right.
Because they're commission based.
Right.
It's a scary concept when you think about it.
Mm-hmm. Brenda, I bet now you wish you had some of those bottles left over because one, you can't do that anymore. Matter of fact, you're not supposed to campaign within, I believe it's 500 feet of a polling place.
Right. And typically handing out things like liquor would be considered buying votes.
Correct. But it used to be commonplace, but these are now voting restrictions that are going on.
Yeah.
That is insane. So, yes, we need a Voting Act thing that needs to get moving.
Well, and especially, unfortunately, it looks like more crowd control.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Right. Well, they're going to be forcing a lot of people back to the polls that enjoy absentee balloting.
Yeah,
Or
bumper
mail-in
stickers
ballot.
are still legal.
Yep. Bumper stickers are still legal. We see idiots with them all the time.
Yeah. And the whole like break point is, what is its tangible value?
Right.
Does it have a legitimate tangible value? A
Right.
bumper sticker does not.
Right.
Even baseball caps do not. T-shirts don't really have a tangible value
Right.
in terms of promotional items.
Right.
But then you turn around and yeah, once you get up to alcohol, even airplane bottles, that's considered to have a tangible value by contents within.
Right. But
I
even
think
things
is the
like the
premise.
buttons from like the Kennedy campaign, the Nixon campaign, they are worth so much now.
Well, and that something has a future collector's value
Yep.
is one thing, but the actual legitimate in that moment tangible value,
Right.
can it be construed as being, effectively paying for a vote? And alcohol can, because the contents of that bottle have an independent value,
Right.
not related to the campaign. Like, it's a weird fine line. It's kind of weird.
It
But
is.
a lot of this stuff does go on to have future value, but then again, so do a lot of things to the right person. Like old movie posters have value. Old campaign buttons have value. And it's more to do with the number of people who got it and didn't keep it.
Right. Very
Like,
much so.
as in you mass produce thousands or millions of something, and then suddenly left in the world seems to only be a few thousand.
Right.
Then it suddenly has value.
Right, because everyone threw it away because maybe they didn't win the election. Maybe the election was just an election. Why are we talking about this? Because next year we have a midterm. Get your ass ahead of this.
I know we're all, and I really am. We are all about term limits and getting people to not be career politicians and, but at some point it's also that moment of like, could we just take like a 6-year break on elections at some point?
No.
You know what I mean? Just so that it's not like we go from one election season, we get like maybe 6 months of peace and quiet, and then we start a new election season.
Well, I get that, but we're going to start seeing election ads here soon. I'm going to go ahead and voice my opinions.
Already being done.
Right. I'm going to go ahead and voice my opinions. We need to get rid of all West Virginia senators and congressmen. We don't like any of them. We need a new governor. I don't care who. At this point, I'll take Baby Doll.
Yeah, really.
Justice who wants to go and coach basketball should go coach basketball.
Yeah.
And we don't need Mosey either. Locally, I'm looking for a new city council.
At least one member needs to go. He is in the wrong place.
Yep, he is. He doesn't belong there. He's not, and I commented on the videos.
Well, yeah, and to be very blunt about it, we mean go have a nice retirement, go fishing, go enjoy whatever you enjoy doing that is not political in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
Go do whatever. Bug collecting, stamp collecting, like we don't care. Go do something else. And it has everything to do with the fact that if you cannot even be respectful of your fellow council members and your, council-based staff for the duration of a meeting, and I don't mean you have to agree with them and rubber stamp everything they think or say or do. I mean just general what is the word I'm looking for? Not quorum.
Robert's Rules of Order.
Yeah, I know it's related to that. But it's an actual word in and of itself. Oh, help me out. Where's Mary when you need her? I know she'd know this one. Basic human decency is also nice too, but we aren't even requiring that out of him.
Right.
Like I'm really not. I have to go a little now Voyager on that one. Let's not ask for the stars, or let's not ask for the moon. We have the stars. Like I'll just go for, and the word still escapes me.
Okay. Well, and then there's another one that needs to be addressed, and it's one that one of our listeners lives in, Fairmont. Y'all guys need a new mayor. He's useless. He's rude. He was very rude.
Decorum.
Yeah.
That's the word I could not think. A little decorum.
Yeah.
Just decent respect for the fact that these are fellow people, either in your position or are your technical subordinates.
Right.
And that you are not to abuse them.
Right.
That if you need to convince them that you are right through browbeating and embarrassment, no.
Yeah, no.
Thank you, Brenda. She got there too.
Yeah, but no, Fairmont, y'all guys got a city council and a mayor that needs attention.
Yeah.
And replacement. Because I don't know, Brenda, did you see the video of him cursing out a man in front of his child?
Ooh. That one is just, where was your head? Moreover, won't even at least accept that, you know what, in this moment, I should apologize.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly.
Uh-huh.
To every party involved. Yeah, Brenda posted it.
Okay.
But yeah, no. Why? What PR person told you it would be good to choose that moment to be petty? Like, I will sit here and say, even if you don't think you owe someone an apology, or that you have a principled stand that tells you that you have no reason to be apologetic to them, the reality is, at the end of the day, you are in a PR nightmare.
Right.
And it is one moment that you could have shut this down and yet chose to let it continue to fester for whatever reason. Instead of doing the one simple, free, easy thing you could have done to start shutting it down.
Right.
And been like, look, sorry, that was inappropriate. That's not how I should have acted. I apologize to all of you. Thank you and good night.
Right. Well, it shouldn't have happened to begin with. Okay. One, I'm going to remind everybody of this as we move into this. They are our employees. President Biden works for me. Kamala Harris works for you. They are our employees. All of them are. All the way down to the dog catcher. If they cannot act respectful, they don't need to be in the office.
Right. I don't get that.
This is over a parking space.
Yeah. I mean, and it doesn't even matter. Even if it had been something more, substantial and important and whatever. What PR person? And granted, the answer is you don't have one, or they don't have one. But no PR person would ever tell you
Mm-hmm.
this is a place
Mm-hmm.
you want to draw a line.
Right.
No, it really isn't. Because one, you're signaling that a lot of bad things.
Right.
That you cannot civilly operate as an
Mhm.
heir.
Yeah.
Amongst constituents.
Mhm.
You've defined a line there
Mm-hmm.
that you think you have the right to pick and choose who you are representing.
Mm-hmm.
You have basically outright said it.
Right.
No. Stop that.
Yeah.
Bad life choice.
Right.
Bad political choice.
Very.
And it's only going to perpetuate this issue. And maybe he enjoys the headlines under the, no, like as in all press is good press.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's no, this is very bad press.
Exactly.
Like this is show a spirit of cooperation,
Mm-hmm.
of ability to say, hey,
Right.
in this situation, I overreacted and I can understand.
Right.
And I'm willing to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you work with me?
Mm-hmm.
And move forward?
Exactly.
Because that's all anyone needed.
Right.
And it was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Clean slate, wiped away, don't do it again.
Right.
I
No.
just...
I know.
Because
Now,
I'm sorry. And granted, just there. I'm sorry. I've worked in enough customer service. Which honestly, I think we need to somehow impart to political candidates. That's what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
This is to some degree customer service.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you at least have to be able to empathize enough.
Right.
That even if someone is dead fucking wrong and
Right.
dumber than a box of rocks, even if you think that about them,
right.
Be able to empathize enough
Right.
that you can at least understand how they're feeling,
Mm-hmm.
even if everything that happened is deserved, is their fault, is their whatever,
Mm-hmm.
that you can empathize enough to meet them at a human level
Exactly.
and go, look, I'm sorry that happened.
Uh-huh.
And, how can we improve it? How
Right.
can we make this better? That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's like Joe's great big giant PR strategy here
Mm-hmm.
is at least be able to empathize enough with people on a human level.
Mm-hmm.
That even if they're wrong, even if they're stupid, even if what they've done is unjustifiable,
Right.
at least be able to say, hey, I understand enough of how you feel. And if I believe the same things,
Right.
or thought the same way, or had the same experience that you've had,
Mm-hmm.
by your own design, I could understand how you're feeling right now. I can understand your frustration. I can understand your anger.
Right.
Or more importantly, that no, you should not have to feel that way right now.
Exactly.
Like, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Just that alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sorry, I've been doing that. Well, and granted, I say sorry a lot, but I've been doing that for years. That's it. That's my whole customer service approach.
Mm-hmm.
Is that I don't have to judge what you did,
Mm-hmm.
as much as I have to be able to go, look, this isn't the experience you should be having.
Right.
Wonderful word said to me by a ticket counter agent.
Right.
Many years ago, while I was traveling, that summed up everything that I could not find words to describe.
Right.
Why are you not, how can I help you have the customer experience that my company says you should be having right now?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Right.
Like, No one apologized to me. No one said, how can I help you?
Right.
In the most concise, intelligent way I'd ever heard it. And it was like, oh, thank God. Someone who gets it
Right.
is what went through my head. She didn't have to. She didn't have to get it.
Right.
She just had to be able to take the tools and resources, and she could stand there and think, you're a total fucking dumbass.
Mm-hmm.
You did this to yourself, but how can I get you back on track? What are my options? What can I do
Right.
to get you back to where we would like your customer service experience to be?
Right.
That's it. That's all you got to do.
Mm-hmm. So, I want to address something, and it was actually on Philip DeFranco, and it pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
And I will probably be doing a show with Dottie, and we'll probably take this one deeper.
Oh, okay.
Y'all, I know this is Mountain Bears. We don't normally talk psychic stuff over here, except I do readings, and I've got some questions, and I'm going to get to them.
Yeah, we're getting there. Sorry, guys. I know you've been waiting for a little bit.
Yeah.
But yes.
If you seen it, a supposed psychic making comment on the Gabby Hanna case, please remind them of their ethical position they need to be taking here.
Mm-hmm.
One, Gabby Hanna hasn't been dead 30 days or 90 days. Two, they shouldn't be trying to channel someone that is still in crisis mode. Three, it is tiring to watch people hop off this and increase the pain that her family is going through already.
Well, and I would say moreover, even on that front, is these are people looking for attention. This is attention-seeking behavior.
Mm-hmm.
You are grabbing a headline and trying to insert yourself into the story.
Mm-hmm.
That is not someone you really want to trust in terms of finding a psychic.
Right.
Now, granted, I brought it up on the show.
Right.
And I will say that I was, again, I kind of justified my position then as I wasn't looking for deep detail.
Right.
I just had a very specific question related to that. Granted, if we hadn't covered the news story, I wouldn't have the question, so it kind of went in reverse for us. But you very much took the opportunity to not insert yourself in this one. That no, inappropriate. And I understand that.
Right.
And I really wasn't thinking when I asked it.
Right.
But that said, for someone to just bring it up and with the sole intent to insert themselves in this hot topic because it's a hot topic and they can get their name attached to, someone who is currently a hot topic.
Right.
And especially if they have a pattern of doing this.
Right.
I don't know how one trusts someone that legitimately goes out of their way to glom on to a celebrity or to a current celebrity status event over and over and over again, especially.
Right. Especially when there is an active investigation, when there is no personal connection. You are not being called in by Gabby's family. No, I did not answer her question. I will be answering them in a minute.
Yeah, we're we're a little delaying tonight.
Just because there's a lot of news in general that I'm roaring about. First,
oh no, bippity boppity ban there, dumbass. So yeah, no, we're not going to be buying followers, primes, viewers, etc. Bye-bye.
Bye. We don't buy any of that. We don't participate in any of that.
Okay, I don't know how I came in, but I cannot remove them.
No, they're on Twitch.
Oh,
so
there
I
it
can't
is.
do
There
that.
it is. Okay. So yeah, we're going to delete that.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Oh, wait, I may have deleted someone else's stuff. I think we had comments coming in. I am so sorry for whomever I deleted.
Right.
Oh, wow. No, I really can't do anything with that comment.
Yeah. We can't do anything with the Twitch comment, unfortunately.
Oh, well. Sorry, I may have deleted one of Kathy's comments or Ashley's. I can't tell which. I'm so sorry.
Okay. So here's the thing in this. These are things that we're taught. This is why Aeson has fucking degrees out his damn ass. He has a lovely folder of them. They'll be going up on my site later.
Yeah.
But please realize who you're working with. Realize the advisors you're working with. Watch their behavior.
Mm-hmm.
I don't inbox anybody and go, I really need to give you a reading. We have them come in on my shows. Do that.
Yeah.
Really pisses me off. And here's why. It's bullshit.
I mean, now granted, some of them do at least wait until someone has expressed interest in, like
Right.
they've asked a question on the show.
Well, no, they'll come in like earlier this week. I was doing cleanup. Okay, and they'll come in and comment below. If you get those, please don't respond to them. They're most likely scams or scan artists.
Well, more importantly, they're going to have scammy behaviors.
Yes.
And overall, it's, this is supposed to be a service one seeks out, not a service that one is, cold approached for. Like, this should not feel like free samples at fucking Sam's.
Right.
This should not feel like we've been trying to get in touch with you about your car's extended warranty.
Exactly. Now,
at no point should it ever be that.
Other things and things that I don't touch. I don't touch the stock market. FCC clearly states psychics are not to predict the stock market.
No.
Okay. I do not and will not comment on an active investigation from a psychic perspective. I won't contact someone to try to do a mediumship reading for someone that's been dead less than 30 days. I am not interrupting their transference. And then getting used to the afterlife. Furthermore, I ain't gonna tell you bullshit if they don't answer my call. These are things that I'm seeing, and it's pissing me off greatly.
Okay, let me ask a question. And yes, to some degree, this is going to have to just because of the subject. But we can take it out of that.
Okay.
And just do it as hypothetically as humanly possible, yet everyone's still going to relate it. If someone has potentially died in a horribly traumatic situation at the hand of another, is there even a remote possibility that instantaneously, i.e., less than a month or more, that person, now deceased, would indiscriminately reach out or be willing to, able to, etc., communicate what happened at all? Indiscriminately. I'm not saying like mom is a fucking psychic.
Right.
And daughter is in a horrible accident. I'm sure there's some caveats and exceptions.
Right.
I'm saying indiscriminately. Like any fucking psychic who wanted to pick up a lie.
Right. I will say this. This is what my understanding of it now. And here is why. Now, mom, not being psychic, we'll hear from them. Dad, still living, we'll hear from them. There is records of them appearing in dreams. There is records of signs and symbols being around them. But those are normally carried by somebody else because it's literally for two reasons. One, if they feel they need to communicate something to get their case moved, to get justice. Second is to let them know that they're okay. The shell of the body is damaged, but they have made it. But what is going on that side is the same thing that's going on this side. When, someone has a baby, they do not know how to communicate with us. Except maybe I've seen few children telepathically be able to communicate with the mother or father.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even understand the bi-world situation there, because they're just above us and over to the left a little bit. I've seen spirits that cross over and they are still going about their life like whatever. As they learn to transition, as they learn to say, I'm dead, and there's this weird guy or girl here trying to ask me questions. I don't know who the hell she's talking to. I don't know how to interact with him. It would be like taking a human being on this plane and dropping them to live in the ocean.
Well, moreover, it would be more, I think, appropriate to compare it to, let's hand your newborn an iPhone and see how the conversation goes.
Yes. And let them answer the call.
When someone calls about, their car's extended warranty.
Yeah.
Like, try to conceptually explain all those concepts to a newborn in 5 minutes or less.
Right.
Or more importantly, a year or less. Take all the time you need.
Right.
I don't think you're going to get anywhere.
If it is a traumatic exit, that soul's still trying to regulate with that traumatic exit. What it was, what happened, how it was, why, what happened to me, why am I no longer there? I've got to supposed to be here. I've got to be there. So, yes, it's pissing me off. Furthermore, if there is someone still on the run, you do not comment publicly where you think they are. Because guess what? Especially on platforms like TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, if you have any notoriety, guarantee they're going to see it. And they're going to move from where they're at, therefore slowing down the law investigation.
Well, meanwhile, back at the ranch of the poor, unfortunate individual who has now publicly stated they know where you're at, if they're right, you're or if they more importantly know what happened in detail, i.e. details not released to the general public, that's not a position that anyone ethically wants to be in, or anyone with ethics technically wants to be in, because what comes next is a knock at the door and a lot of questions about how the fuck do you know that? Because what that can also indicate is that you are somehow involved.
Right.
So generally speaking, anyone with half an ounce of self-preservation does not want to get arrested or more importantly, taken in for questioning.
Oh no, arrested. There are cases. There was a lady. She had psychic experiences. She was very untrained. Connected with a spirit of a nurse that was murdered, and they hadn't found her body. So at the time, she was only missing. The spirit decided to connect with this person for whatever reason, harmonic frequency, DNA structure. There is a lot of science behind it. The woman was compelled to go to the police. The police took her information down, paid attention to her, questioned her, but didn't follow up. The body is still not found. She is directed by spirit to go out into the canyon and find this body. The psychic was held in jail for over a month. No, I think it was a whole 6-month process there before they even began working with the looking for the real killer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. And if it's not like this is broad, like, breaking news, or shouldn't be for anyone. Criminal investigation works at the point of logical direction. logical conclusion that simply looks at what's most likely.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, when they're, and I think anyone has cause to be a little skeptical
Mm-hmm.
in that particular situation that, oh, I, heard a voice, saw images, was told by someone who is no longer with us
Mm-hmm.
what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Not always the most immediate likely.
Right.
The more likely thing is you had some form of involvement with this,
Correct.
even indirectly.
Mm-hmm.
That is more common.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the individual, you were at the scene of the crime, you were something,
Mm-hmm.
is the more logical conclusion.
Right.
Because I'll tell you now, if I come home
Mm-hmm.
and there's a shattered jar of cookies on our kitchen floor, my first thought is not going to be a spirit did this, a ghost did this, a haunting or a possession or anything else did this. My logical conclusion is that fucking cat, I swear to God.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have a cat
Mm-hmm.
who knocks over shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bouncy ball of criminal investigation.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going to assume happened first.
Right.
Now, if it keeps happening and the cat runs away and it keeps happening, or there's no way the cat could have gotten in the kitchen for this to happen, I'll start looking for alternative explanation.
Well, see, my first question will be, Dad, what the hell do you want and why are you taking my damn cookies? You ain't supposed to have cookies. You're dead.
Yeah, exactly, Brenda. The puppy wanted cookies because now somehow they have worked out a whole system, but
yeah.
I
Now,
don't know if it's
Ashley
like,
asked if I think that Teresa will make comment on this. I have a very strong bias against Teresa, and here's my bias. And it has been shown that the bias is false, and I'll tell you why it's false before we go into it. What she does in the show of walking up and giving messages to people pisses me off.
and you were talking about random stranger,
Right.
like no one who asked to be part of this.
Right.
Yeah, that's a big no-no for you, especially. Like, you hate that one. That one causes you so much anger.
Yeah.
And for good reason. Like,
Right.
I've seen it done as in others, and it's usually done in such a way that there's so many other inappropriate things in that moment.
Right.
Because one, it tends to be a show-off.
Mm-hmm.
As in, it's someone who is like, here, watch this.
Uh-huh.
And so they take a certain amount of like show off to them.
Mm-hmm.
To unsolicited advice across the board.
Mm-hmm.
No one asks you.
Right.
No one told you they wanted to know or thought there might be something they are interested in knowing.
Right. Now, it had been revealed that that is actually staged, which I have a larger problem with.
Yeah, because then you're basically turning this into more of the ability to make the charge
Uh-huh.
that all of it's faked.
Well,
All of
both,
it's unreal. No one has these abilities. No one. It's all cold reading. It's all blah blah blah.
right. And both of those instances I get aggravated with.
Mm-hmm.
One, if it's a reality show that's about psychics, please show the real shit. Please show the 70 hours we put in. Please show the meetings that we sit in and go, are you fucking nuts? We're not going to say that. You can go get lost, or the government agents knocking you on your door because you've done X, Y, and Z.
Well, and then here's where I come at it at. And this is one of those ethical questions that just floats around in general. If you are out and you know that your friends do not, or you think you know, more importantly, that your friends do not have an open relationship because you have never been told they have such an arrangement, and you see what can only be interpreted as one spouse on a date with someone who is not the spouse, do you inform the other spouse about this behavior?
No.
I'm always at a no.
Right. Now, I go to that person I see at the date, not at the date, don't ruin the moment. Pull them inside and say, look, this is what I saw. If this is consensual, you don't need to do anything. If this is not consensual, you need to clean your house up.
Yeah. And that's to the person engaging in the behavior.
Exactly.
Okay. I've always been in the mindset of no, you do not tell someone their spouse is cheating on them.
Right.
One, no good thing ever came of that.
Exactly.
And I mean that literally. No good thing ever came of that.
Right.
But two, it is absolutely and always eternally humiliating for anyone who does not know what is going on in their own relationship to find out from a third party what is going on in their relationship.
Right. And it will be guaranteed. I've never seen this not turn out the way it turns out. And that is, you're wrong on so many levels. You're making it up. You're causing trouble in the relationship. However, when you reverse that and go to the party that you saw on the date and say, clean your house up, and they go, what you saw was me having dinner with a business partner, and we are trying to form a business. What you saw was me out with my cousin, and I hadn't seen her in a number of years.
Well, as in logical explanations exist.
Yeah.
Normal, there are a lot of things that can be misread. But moreover, it also, even if you get lied to in that moment, at least lets that person know other people are seeing this.
Right.
And at least you had the respect to approach the respect to approach them directly and let them know that, hi, I saw this.
Right.
So, like, dudette, dude without you that is non-binary,
right,
or any version of gender, get your shit in order because you are not being as careful as you think you are.
Right.
And you have effectively moved into the category where it is only a matter of time.
Right.
Before what you're doing reaches your spouse, regardless of whether everyone you know will do the same thing.
Exactly.
Not directly approach them.
Right. I mean, because there are people that I'm friends with. We have that relationship. We have that comfortability of that relationship. I can take off and go somewhere. I'm not seeing them. They're not seeing me. But you'd swear we were in a relationship, and that's been confused with me multiple times.
I had that with a best friend that by appearances, I understand totally what that woman at a gas station in the middle of the night thought. And it made absolute perfect sense in her heteronormative brain. And it made absolutely perfect sense. It really did. Because, our minds make up a story for events we, encounter. And usually we're fairly close or right or within a degree margin of error kind of thing. But she was so wrong. My best friend in college, we were traveling. She was not having a good time. She was having a very bad evening. And we walked into this gas station in the god-awful hours of the morning. And as we walked through the door, I was on the way to the bathroom. She needed basically period supplies at that point in terms of chocolate and, feeling better. And she just outright demanded my wallet.
Mm-hmm.
To which I responded by handing her my wallet and walking onto the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And this woman in this gas station read that situation, saw the interaction. And so when I came out of the bathroom and went up to the counter, because I also needed stuff, I got, quickly handed my wallet as my friend scurries out the door. And this poor woman looks at me and says, "Is your wife going to be okay?" And I did not have the heart at that moment to tell this woman all the things wrong with her interpretation of that situation that started somewhere between, we're not in a relationship of marriage. She's a lesbian. I am a gay man. There are so many layers of things wrong with what you assumed happened here. I did not have the heart to tell this woman the whole story.
Right.
No, really, this is just a friend of mine, nor did I think it mattered at that point. I laughed about it. We laughed about it. My friend and I laughed hysterically about it later. And I said what was true in that moment, which is, yes, she'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's highlight some comments, and then after that, we will start on the questions. Get those out of the way.
Right.
Starting with Sandy's comment, and then followed by Brandy's.
All right, I'm really enjoying listening.
Uh-huh.
There we go. We'll bring that up. So I'm really enjoying listening to the other side of this. She irritates me. Aeson, you're always to the point, and I like listening to the ethics of your profession. Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you. I actually have an ethical code on my website. I will not work with a psychic that cannot hold that ethical code. Just in general, I make it a rule. Yeah. You have to have an ethics code because we currently do not have legislation. Britain has legislation. Britain has laws. Britain has a licensing board. I wish the U.S. would move to this model. It would make things so much easier in my career.
Well, in another profession that doesn't really have a good code of ethics or a good law or even good, laws surrounding the profession is IT.
Yeah.
And I was kind of horrified by that.
Mm-hmm.
That, there's a lot of unethical behavior in IT that is considered permissible based solely upon the fact there is nothing surrounding it.
Right.
It's not illegal.
Mm-hmm.
It's inappropriate as hell.
Right.
Like the number of IT people I've seen that are comfortable going through the users, and I still hate that word, but the people that they are supposed to be supporting, going through voicemails, going through email, not at any company direction related to any kind of internal investigation, but just because they can.
Mm-hmm.
Always, always, always upset me.
Right.
Because I really, really, really hate people who have authority, and that's what that's typically called in that situation, to do something that abuse that authority to do things that they are not asked to do, that are not part of their job requirements, that are for no reason.
Right.
To which it's undirected, and they're simply using it to gain information that they can use to manipulate situations and circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with people like that, and it's like, no.
Right.
It makes my skin crawl.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you'll do that as an IT person for a company, and I mean, we're talking about like doing this towards like, owners of the companies, CEOs, VPs, managers, directors, just fellow coworkers. I worry about someone as a human being at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Because no, that's not what you were hired to do. That is not the job description at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Calm down. Sit down. Just because you're inside doesn't mean you act like an idiot.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah.
Gizmo's in.
Yeah, well, both of them are in and back
Oh,
here. And
okay.
somebody needs a bath, so that will be occurring soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no, I'm a little horrified by my own profession and the fact that we are this many years into IT and we do not have a good code of ethics that dominate the industry.
Right. Well, and that's a big thing. I mean, I'm in it 30 years. I've seen it all. It takes a lot of shock for me to see things that aren't around. But no, it's very highly important to develop an ethical code for any profession.
Oh yeah, and especially, and I bring this up because there is an overlap there between psychics and IT people. If you think about it for a minute, we are both privy to information that other people would not necessarily have access to. It's not like you left your phone on the fucking ground with all your shit pulled up, and the IT person saw it,
right?
Or some random person saw it. It's not like you were walking down the street with like a giant sign over your head that said, "Hi, I'm cheating on my spouse," and also, embezzling from, my business. Okay. In that regard, I could even inadvertently find that out about, someone that I support. Just as much as you may inadvertently find out that information, even if you're not in a reading.
Right. And I do. And it's like, no, I'm not interested.
Well, yeah, and in both cases, we would both have to make a choice. What do I do here?
Right.
How do I use the information that I have, or do I?
Right.
And specifically with the code of ethics
Yeah.
professionally, you don't use that to extort people. You don't use that to show off. You don't use that to create a situation.
Right.
Nor do I.
Right.
I'm not gonna there's a limit to what, and I have to accept that.
Right.
And this is why I advise it heavily, is trust your IT person and make sure you can.
Right.
In that you're giving them access to a lot of things.
Right.
Exactly. And in doing so, you should have a high degree of trust in them that they're not going to abuse that access.
Right. And for those wondering what the whining is, he thinks he's a lap puppy. He is not a lap puppy. I can't shuffle cards and have him sit on my lap.
Oh.
And both of them are like, it's cold, I want cuddles. And it's like, no, I gotta work.
Yeah.
We're still working on him on that front. We're still working on getting him used to living in a house. He's good otherwise. It's just the interpersonal stuff. And of course, he still wants to talk to the cats very loudly. He thinks they're deaf.
Apparently. So, all right, we're ready to start with Ashley.
Yes.
All right, Ashley. Question for my mother-in-law, 92971.
Shush.
Is Ralph the one for me?
I don't feel so. I feel like he's a renegade. He may be fun for a little while, but he's going to cause drama in the households.
All right, follow-on question from the mother-in-law. Will Jonathan and I reconcile, or is Max, Jerry, or Ralph a better match?
I think you started a new one, and I don't like any of these applicants.
Ooh. Put up the help wanted sign.
Yeah, I definitely think that you need to put up the help wanted sign because all of them are the same models. You've had this. You don't need it. You need different because the models you've been getting aren't working for you, girl.
Oh, are you about to tell her quit dating out of the clearance section?
No, honey. I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
going to tell
Not
her to
that bad.
quit dating out of the clearance section, but, find something better.
All right.
All right.
Oh, I'm trying to find her next one. I thought we had. There we go. So Kathy 72862 is Triz still coming to me soon? This other guy I believe is a scam, and yes, I truly love Triz.
I feel that he is, and I would agree with the dude, but it's still your choice on what you do with him. Because I feel like he's a scammer, but not a. Like, he's not going to have you wire money to Nicaragua situation there. But again, I feel like that Trez is still coming along.
Okay. I have to ask a question on that. When you say not a scammer in the send me money kind, are you talking about more like wants to be kept or more like he's not really who he says he is and he has a fake persona?
I feel like he has a persona. I don't think
Okay.
it's fake, but I feel like that it isn't everything that it sounds like it is.
Oh, little extra exaggeration.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. All
Just
right.
curious. There's a lot of that goes around.
Yes.
Alrighty.
Alrighty. Okay. So if you have TikTok, I'm over on TikTok. Come follow me over there. We've started back the daily reads. I am going to be getting. Oh, please do, Ashley.
Yeah.
Please add to the ethical conversation. But also, so those are going to come back. Some blog stuff is going to be coming back. Things are calming down again to where I can actually produce stuff. So that'll be coming back. I'm wanting to ask my baristas, and I'm going to ask you a question over there in the break room. So please pay attention to that.
Yeah, I think Ashley makes a very strong point there. Getting an ethical code and certification for psychics in the U.S. would acknowledge by everyone that y'all are really real.
Yeah.
I think that would really help with IT as well.
Right.
Like, there needs to be more legitimacy in just the IT field. Like,
Right.
to some degree, and as bad as this sounds, I can understand to some degree why people would feel your profession does not deserve legitimizing.
Right.
As in, as horrible as that sentence is. I just don't get it with IT at all. Like, why would you, like, honestly, why aren't we clamoring for this in IT? I don't get that.
Well, because you got to remember, IT was born out of the military, and they want nothing to do with it. All right. So here's the thing: there is a couple. There's a private investigator, Bob Orman, Best American Psychics. I love his system. He does a background check. He does readings. He does accuracy tests before you can even go on his site. I love that about him. He also does a lot of business classes, and a lot of other classes.
Yeah, Ashley says not everyone would assume you're hackers, Joe. I know, and that's the problem. That's like my straight up legit problem. Is it's not even about hacking as much as just exploiting your access.
Right.
The same as if because there's a TikTok video going around I saw earlier today. And this is actually, I think, out of West Virginia, possibly. But a woman went to her endocrinology appointment. And so about, the appointment's for, I think, like 3 something. And it's common in this appointment that she has to wait, that, this is a very busy doctor. It's very hard to get appointments, yada, yada, yada. And the field, does require a lot of or can encounter a lot of long conversations.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, she's very patient, she's used to this, etc. Doesn't hold it against the doctor, likes her doctor, it takes as long as it takes. Goes in for this appointment, gets set up in a room, and the door's closed, she's waiting. This office closes at 5. And at 5, she still hears noise in the office and, just assumes, wow, the doctor's really behind. Like, she got taken in at like 3 something. It's now 5 something. Very patient. Until all of a sudden, after 5:30, she realizes the office has gone silent. Turns out when they checked her in, they inadvertently hit no-show instead of put her in exam room, and they didn't check rooms before they left for the day. So this woman was technically left in this doctor's office, and potentially, parts of this office were left open with no one there. Like, I'm sure there were charts that needed to be filed. There were, things she could have gotten access to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's kind of a
Yeah, and see, that would be quite. While it's a mistake, I would be very real crushing it.
So yeah, currently in that moment, she had access. Her own self, one, she was far more interested in the fact that, oh my God, my doctor forgot I was here.
Mm-hmm.
And oh shit, I'm alone in the office and I'm not having my appointment today. And look, like, many things go through your mind. Like, when I open the door, is it going to set off an alarm? I'm sure is one of them.
Right.
Like, how locked in am I?
Right.
But she could have also exploited that as an opportunity to potentially do all kinds of damage.
Right. Very much so. All right. And Ashley says, oh, no red flags there. Bullshit. Brenda brings up that knowing that she knew an IT person that would go through personal photos, messages, etc. on computers they were working on. Doesn't give you a lot of faith in people. I knew most don't, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't even know that I could personally say most don't.
Right.
I've been horrified by the number of people I've run across and the conversations within the field
Mm-hmm.
that I've had that I'm just sitting there going, it's not illegal, but it's highly inappropriate.
Right.
Because there are IT people that
Mm-hmm.
will make some assumptions.
Mm-hmm.
And they will very gladly, if they find you sexually attractive, be willing to work on your phone or your computer just for the access.
Right.
I've seen it happen.
Mm-hmm.
In the hopes of finding something that they find interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You can do the ... And then some of the banter about working on computers and what they found
Mm-hmm.
that I've also heard is equally horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, wait a minute. What were you hired to fix is my bigger question.
Right.
Technically, what they've done, it's not illegal.
Right.
It's just super inappropriate.
Exactly.
And that's because we don't have really good, clear legislation on that one. Like, you would have a hard time
Mm-hmm.
proving that what they did met any kind of criminal standard.
Right.
So long as they don't perform a secondary criminal act with it.
Right.
Like, they don't post it or share it. They don't,
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to separate that out.
Right.
Like, because I'm sorry, I run backups.
Right.
And one could argue whether or not just the act of running that backup
Mm-hmm.
would, excuse the behavior.
Right.
Like, well, we had to copy everything on the hard drive.
Right.
But you didn't have to go through it.
Exactly.
You didn't have to sit there and keep it for an extended period. Yeah, because you could make those logical arguments legally. You could make those arguments that no, we didn't do anything wrong. But it's like, what was your actual use?
Exactly.
Because you could cover up a lot just by careful wording.
Nope, it is not, Ashley. It is not identity theft.
No, it's not identity theft at all. Now, you could attempt to say unauthorized access, but then you still fall into a big chasm of debate there.
Right.
Or misuse, you could start to argue that, but again, you're going to the logical argument if you're an attorney for someone would have to be, no, it's not misuse. We used it in accordance to our policies.
Right.
And those policies can be whatever the hell the company decides those policies are.
Exactly. All right, y'all. It's been a lovely evening. Yes, Ashley, baristas, your members only Zoom will be on Monday. It'll be a good Zoom. We'll be talking about a lot of things. What we're trying to do, what I'm trying to do, where things are at with the studio. You may even get to see Mr. Gizmo on camera. Different stuff. So yeah, bring your questions, bring the fun, and we will be doing that. Now remember, that is at 8 p.m., not 9:30.
Right.
8
p.m. for
Eastern Standard. Yep, members only. All right, Joe. So why don't you take over and do our bit on that?
All righty. So of course we want to thank our baristas. We really do love you guys. Thanks so much, Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda Bryant, Ashley Giss, Shannon C, Shannon D, the ever wonderful Lady Gwendolyn, and of course our newest member, Charles Shaw.
Yeah.
If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor, thankfully or hopefully without knocking on our front door, please visit pcspnetwork.com. I'm just saying it because it was a little unsettling.
I think it was totally awesome.
It was awesome, but at the same time, a touch unsettling.
A touch. All right, y'all. You guys have a magical weekend. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. Take your vaccines if you haven't had them. Stay away from humans. May stock up your house. And we will see you baristas on Monday. And everyone else, we will see you on Tuesday. You guys have a great evening. Bye, y'all.
Bye.